Arapo, you have stolen my thought, because actually I was ready to start my speech that the previous panel gave us food for thought. And I really wonder what I must say right now after that. I believe that they will think very boring listening to me because already they have consumed the food and maybe they will feel a little bit sleepy. Anyway, so good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Magandang hapon. I don't know if I say correct. I just Google it from translator. Καλό απόγευμα. Καλό απόγευμα means in Greek what we said before. As you may understand, I am from Greece. Don't try to pronounce my last name. You will tangle your tongue. So just call me Fanis. I started my career 1972. Okay, 52 years ago. 52 years ago, where we don't have these words and terms we heard many times today, ISM, ISPS, MLC, high-risk area, voluntary risk area, soft skill, technical skills, Bab el-Mandeb, Houthis, piracy, and we're seamen. We didn't have the facilities that Mr. Elon Musk provide us with the Starlink and with his 5,000 satellites already flying above us. But we were seamen not isolating in our cabins, playing with tablets, cell phones. We were seamen gathering in the smoking room and discussing, talking. Anyway, the topic that I'm going to touch today is the other very famous word which we heard. I didn't count how many times we heard it today: decarbonized and decarbonization. New terms for us is our baby, as it was 3 years ago, the other term, COVID. So now, before we were dealing with COVID, now we are dealing with decarbonization. Or from sails to sails. Before, the ships were sailing with sails, and the people working on the ships were sailors. And who was the most famous sailor? Popeye, the sailor man. After the implementation of steam and of the engines of the internal combustion, we become seamen or seafarer. But now, another alternative means of propulsion is again the sails. So we are again sailor. The global shipping industry, as you may know, is responsible for the transportation of the 90% of global trade, as it is daily supplying the world with food, fuel, medicines, and various goods. It accounts for the 3% of global greenhouse gas emissions. After a long history of wind, coal, and oil-fueled ships, a fourth propulsion revolution is now underway. The shipping aims to shift away from conventional fuels, transiting towards alternative, low and zero carbon fuels and technologies. This will support the global community of reaching, good. You know, I'm not so good with the technology, okay? Please apologize for that. And don't judge me. This will support, as we said, the global community. I told you. Help? Okay. No, we have to go back. I got it. Very clever. So this will support the global community in reaching the decarbonization goals. Into the decarbonization journey, no single alternative fuel is likely to fulfill the needs of the entire maritime industry. And this is due to many factors. The raw material supply, the technology limitations, the price competitiveness, the stakeholder acceptance, and the requirement of different vessel types and operating profiles. Several alternative fuels are under consideration, including methane, hydrogen, methanol, biofuels, and ammonia. Each fuel has different characteristics and advantages, but also different hurdles, including safety hazards, to overcome before widespread adoption. In a previous panel, it was discussed what actually alternative fuel should be selected by any shipowning company. Since I'm working in a shipowning company, I can tell you that the most difficult answer is what alternative fuel we shall select for our new building plan. We have already put order for the building of 8 new ships, 4 Aframax and 4 Suezmaxes. And the only we decided is to have engines burning the conventional type of propulsion, fuel oil. Because actually it is very difficult to find out if we can build ships with one particular alternative fuel. Because there is ammonia in the Asia, but there is no ammonia in US. There is methanol or hydrogen in Europe, but not in Asia. And since the ships are sailing globally, what to do? To operate the new technology systems on the vessel's engines and to manage the introduction of the new alternative fuels and propulsion modes, seafarers will need adequate skills for proper handling so as to represent a significant health and safety risk for crew members, ships, communities, and the environment. Education based to the decarbonization trajectory and the future fuel mix, or the vessel's propulsion type. Awareness, training, and familiarization on board specific to the ship they are joining, taking into consideration that the seafarers do not have the privilege of selecting the ships to join, and in turn, what kind of alternative fuel the ship will use. In other words, they don't know if the next ship will use the same alternative fuel with the previous. Lack of clarity about viability and uptake of alternative fuel options. Uncertainty surrounding regulatory development and financing is making difficult to plan effectively for the transition to the decarbonized future. Anyhow, no matter which types of fuels shall be ultimately favored, there are things which need to be done to support such transitioning. This will require additional training to thousands of seafarers up to 2050, not for me, for sure. It includes investing in and enhancing maritime training establishments, proper facilities and equipment, always as well fastening competent maritime trainers. I will omit this slide because I see this big brother watching me here, okay. Let's go to the safety challenges related to the alternative fuels in shipping. Storage. Alternative fuels shall be stored carried in specialized tanks capable of handling high pressure and or very low temperatures of the containment. Means that some of the alternative fuels also will use the capacity, the dead weight of the ship, so they will minimize the income of the ship owners. This is something, it's a factor that also must be taken into consideration. Low flash point. Hydrogen is substantially more flammable than diesel. Toxicity. Ammonia is toxic to humans and the marine environment. Continuous emphasis on a health and safety first culture is key to protecting all seafarers on board ships, the communities in which shipping operates, as well as the operation of the vessel itself. The seafarers, the present seafarers, are familiarized and they know what are the risks of the fuel. So must be taken another training just to be familiarized also with the risks and the consequences by using the alternative means. I have to omit some other slides, unless I have your, no, okay. It's not my mistake, it's your mistake. Yeah. So, sorry, gentlemen and ladies, this is not my mistake. Your complaints to APO, not to me. So, hazard identification. Leaks may arise from fuel system components such as pipes, filters, pumps, valves, and flanges. Collision with another vessel may potentially damage the fuel tank, very usual. Lack of crew awareness, familiarization with new system and equipment, the design and management of work systems. Workspace arrangements and human-machine interface. Lack of crew training for combating leaks or fires related to these new fuels. Careless, unsafe actions by the users. We refer to the industry's level of preparedness for using the new types of fuels such as bunkering barges, crew, shore-based terminal personnel, filters, fitters, service contractors. The new training standard now, as we said, the crew should be trained in new. Special attention should be placed on strengthening and investing in national education systems to support the current and future generation of seafarers. Some countries have established green jobs initiatives to foster and support job creation and skills development. For example, the Philippines Green Jobs Act of 2016 provides incentives for skills training which could be made available for maritime institutions. I address one question to you, which actually I'm not ready to reply because I don't know. What will be the participation in the decarbonization program of the jeepneys?
I can answer that.
You can?
You know that. Captain Fanis, you have to wrap up.
Okay. The IMO STCW Convention shall undergo a comprehensive review, identified areas for revision. STCW revision is scheduled for 2025, and this includes replacing or updating competencies and knowledge, understanding, and proficiency in line with shipping's digitalization evolution. Human factors, considerations, training and work practices, competence and training, specific training and upskilling will be needed. We repeated many times this, to prepare the crew for operation and maintenance of new type of fueled vessels. Process and procedures, safe work practices and standard procedures need to be updated and should be implemented through systematic management of chain programs. Occupational health hazards, affecting occupational health, safeguards such as personal protective equipment need to be developed and implemented. Process safety hazards, appropriate barriers and procedures for emergency response and other hazardous events need to be developed. Suitable and sufficient technical barriers and administrative safeguards must be implemented. I omit another slide just to speed up. You owe me.
I'll bring you the slide. I don't owe you.
Yeah, but I am paying by slides. Okay. Just imagine that I am here coming from Greece just to pay for the slides. Eh? Okay. So, summing up, new and modified technical skill over properties and hazards will be required for those directly involved in managing the transfer and handling of the new fuels. Responsible officers will need to increase their knowledge of relevant regulations and special requirements, such as those for interfacing with flag administrations, contractors, and port terminal personnel. There will also be further need for enhanced non-technical skills for all crew, such as maintaining situational awareness and recognize potential hazards that will affect decision-making, communication, and leadership. These skills are especially important to prepare crew for emergencies. Shoreside company personnel, such as fleet or ship managers, superintendents and support functions, will also need to be cognizant of the specific requirement and changes. And very the strengthening of global training standards for seafarers requires the ongoing comprehensive review of the IMO STCW Convention, identifying areas for revision. These include the replacing of or updating competencies and knowledge, understanding and proficiency in line with shipping digitalization evolution. Special attention should be placed on investing in national education systems to support the current and future generation of seafarers. Skill gaps of seafarers and shortages of clarity surrounding the viability and uptake of alternative fuel options and decarbonization are posing a challenge to the green transition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Captain Fanis.